Welcome, capsuleers. So if you've ever stared at a blueprint and thought, where do I even start? This is your guide. Today we're diving into a 7-part patented process that turns raw ore into pure ISK. I literally thought about that as I was driving home. I thought that's brilliant. Anyway, whether you're a solo industrialist or building a corp-wide supply chain, hopefully this is going to be helpful for you. This is your blueprint to manufacturing guide in eveonline. It's broken into 7 parts because really, this could be 7 different videos. I thought I'd just put it into one and maybe we expand on some of them. By the way, love the customized paint job. Look at that. I think we can all agree it looks like an 80s sort of MC Hammer video, doesn't it? Anyway, let's go through the various bits. So as you can see, we are back. Look at my accounts. We're all back. Isn't this wonderful? I've got 7 accounts subbed at the moment. May do more, but I think at the moment that already is enough for me. So let's maybe start with the basics, right? Let me show you what you're looking to try and do. It's basically to do this. You can see here we have, oh gosh, look at this. Oh, all that ISK. Oh gosh, it's so lovely. Let's deliver all the jobs. Now let's just see, get a graphic representation of this. So if I go to my invention, as you can see, we're basically back. So if I now do deliver all jobs, oh, look at that, printing ISK, lovely jubbly printing ISK. That's what you basically want to be doing. And obviously this is extreme. So as you can see, there's quite a few jobs here. Not that many actually, but there we go. So let's just see, what did we just make? This was me doing a quick production run just to kind of get back into the flow of it. About 400 million iskaroonies of stuff. And that was, I would say, about half building Tech 2, half building Tech 1, because quite a lot of the stuff like expanded cargo holds we didn't have. So yeah, that's a pretty moderate thing, and we could do that twice a day. So again, with the right accounts, the right setup, that's what we want to get you to that. So let's start. Let's go basically to part 1, strategic foundations and choosing a good production headquarters. Now this to me, I'm just going to jump to this guy. This to me was something that again is entirely up to you. So I am currently based in the lovely lands of Karama, in what I like to think of as Pyrex Palace, which is Karama 5 Moon 20. Don't come here, because if you do production in this factory, it means it's more expensive for me. So don't, you can, I'm joking, you can if you want. It's entirely up to you, because to be honest, location is everything. High sec offers obviously safety, but lower margins, that's something to factor in. Null sec obviously has its potential. So you can see if I go to, I had it already, there you go. I mean, it's a bit of a risky thing to do, but you can also set up in low sec. You get big profits. You've got to then build supply chains, logistic chains. And if you want to set up in wormholes, let's say that over there, well, if you love living dangerously, you can certainly set up in a wormhole. But I can only advise you up to a point. I think this is the tricky one. Me personally, I am in the Pyrex Palace. The reason I kind of stay in Karama is just because everything is here. So what are you looking for when you come and do this? Well, basically you want to have, I would say, relatively safe links to Jita, which is, that is pretty much your market hub. So here we've got 1, 2, buckle Moshu, and you're basically in Jita. So 3 jumps, nice and simple. I use these things, but we'll come to equipment in just a moment, because you can also use blockade runners and stuff as well. But I would say anywhere around Jita is good. I used to base in Eskinen. That was actually pretty good, but that's actually about 5 jumps. And so by moving to Karama, it's not so bad. Something to bear in mind, if I go to Facilities, is this is your tab. This is the tab for this particular part of the video. You want to make sure that you have everything set for invention, time research, manufacturing, and so on. So some of these stations are no good. Well, they're okay, but I wouldn't recommend them because they don't have the sciencey bit. So you've got a free port. Now, okay, we'll talk about like player-owned structures in just a minute. I'm going to give you my view based upon years of doing this. You can certainly set up in a free port, but you then run the risk of losing everything you put in there, okay? Because they will unanchor it and steal your stuff. Now, I'm going to let the people post in the comments here to tell you what more that means. There is a scam going around. It used to be, maybe they've changed it, that meant you couldn't asset safety your stuff. Now, if that's gone, great, but there was always the risk that you would be denied entry, you'd be denied docking, and while they have rigs and it can actually increase your productivity, I remain incredibly skeptical of these. You can have your own player structure as well. I did this for years. I had the Eskinen Ritaru, but I've lost 2 of them because eventually somebody comes along and just blows them up, and I can't be bothered to defend it because I'm not going to do much against 20 battleships, am I? So my view of it is use free player structures if you wish. I personally don't. I prefer that if I suddenly get hit by a bus walking out in the streets of London, that then I'm out of the game for 2 years. When I come back, I don't want to hear that this has been destroyed, all my stuff is in asset safety. Oh, and it's not actually because it's gone. Because that happened. I went away, I left a Ritaru with all my stuff in it, and CCP screwed me. And they literally did not tell me about the change in mechanics, so I didn't come back. I didn't even know about it. I logged in, saw it had gone, saw there was no asset safety gone. So think very carefully when it comes to where you want to place your manufacturing. I like these sorts of systems because they're close to a market hub and they actually have a huge amount of I don't know, they're easy to get to and from. I think they're not too expensive. The red bar denotes the level of tax, I believe. So as you can see, invention is, you can see the system cost index is really high in this system now. So you might have to shop around and look, but sometimes you just have to accept that, not a lot you can do about that. But you see there is a tax, you see there 25%. So I don't know, there we go. So that's pretty much the key thing you need to understand when it comes to picking a system that gives you what you want. But there's a wealth. I mean, look around here, you have so many systems so close to the market hub. I mean New Caldari I think has a lot of player owned structures, and Perimeter also, but I think just be careful because they're not exactly going to be helpful to you if you suddenly if they decide it's a scam and here we go, we're going to take everything. There is a risk of it. More just simply from, you probably won't lose stuff, but you'll lose access, and then just your game becomes a nightmare. So for me, an NPC station, you pay a bit more, but you have absolute peace of mind. Let's talk about skills. So if I let's go to one of my production alts, which is probably none of these. Let's go to this guy. So when we talk about skills, skill up, basically what you need to understand is skills are your production backbone. So from the blueprint efficiency to job slots, this kind of is everything you need to know about how to do this. Okay, so let's go and look at our skills. Currently on pause because I'm training another character up with these production skills. So we're going to look today at the key skill to start with, which is production. Okay, so there's some basic stuff in here that is just an obvious one. Industry is obviously the number 1, so you need to have that to level 5. It's a basic skill, rather a base skill. You then have mass production, which allows you to run additional manufacturing jobs. Absolutely critical. Okay, really critical. You then oh wow, I just realized I never actually got level 4. Let's just do that now. So apply skill points, yes please, boosh. So that now if I go Alt S, you see I've got manufacturing jobs 10. There you go, look at that, never even noticed that. So advanced mass production and mass production are the 2 key ones. Advanced industry is then a further reduction of time and things like research time on skills. Outpost construction, if you're building stations, again you only need 1 character with that, and you probably need a few characters with the capitals if you're building capitals. Mediumship, so that's I guess the Tech 2 advanced and Tech 3 advanced, etc. Supply chain management, this is then the ability to do things remotely. Again, tends not to be that needed if I'm honest, because if you have a trading account like I have here, everything else can be done through this account here. So you see basically I've got everything I need here. This person lives in Jita, they have a beautiful apartment, and basically this is where they live. And then advanced small ships. So to be honest, not a huge amount there, okay, but let's go to science now. So this is where it starts to get a bit more complicated. Now again, this is probably the wrong character. Let's go to someone with a bit more skill here. So you see here, this is one of my research characters. So if I just kind of go through very quickly, and again, it's all pretty straightforward. This is about how many laboratories you can run at the same time, as in research jobs. So if I come here, Alt S, this is the science jobs there. So this guy has 10, okay? And if we go to here, we can see it's because we've got research and we've got laboratory somewhere. Laboratory, wish the pop-up wouldn't, there we go, laboratory operation. And then we've got advanced laboratory operations. So those three skills, research, science, obviously, research, laboratory operation, advanced laboratory operation, means that if I go to my S here, I can do 10 research jobs. The maximum is 11, but I wouldn't recommend it because it takes an awful long time. In 27 days, if you want to do it, you do it. I mean, I've got 1 million skill points. I could whack it in there, but is there really any point? We wouldn't complete it anyway. Then you get into the various things that you need to do invention, which again, really, I'm not going to kind of go into in depth, but they are generally anything with a physics thing behind it or a science thing behind it. So, you know, nanite engineering, nuclear physics, plasma physics, quantum physics, rocket science. We'll ignore those because they're something else, you know, laser physics, etc., high energy physics, and so on. So these are all what you need to do certain inventions. So if I go here and I go to my industry and go to blueprints, let's just pick one at random. You see here it has a skill requirement, in this case molecular rocket and mimetar encryption methods. So this is why when it comes to skills, you need to know these things, because these, and you only probably need them at level 1. So you see most of my accounts only have them at level 1. Where I've done them higher, it's because I was drunk. There we go. So I think from a skills point of view, let's probably stop there, because that's the basics that you need. You know, let's just recap what we did. So production skills, just to give you, and what you're looking to do is to get these numbers as high as possible. Let me just clear that blueprint. So 10, 10, and in this case, reactions we're not talking about today. So 10 and 10, and that's really what we do. If you hover over it, it will give you a very nice explanation of what contributes to that. So let's talk about part 3, the tools of the trade, the gear, what you need, the kind of thing. So what do you actually need to start building? Let's look at the ships, the modules, kind of anything you else need in kind of like maybe implants to get some good efficiency. So let's talk really about the basics. So for me, I would recommend this. This is probably one of the key things you're going to need is a transport. It doesn't have to be this sort of flashy Tech 2 transport ship. You don't have to do this. I actually could say that you could use things like, you know, blockade runners are obviously good, but again, just Iteron 5s. And you run the risk every time you do this of somebody blowing you up. Just remember that. This is always going to be a problem in this game, is somebody stopping you. But that's what makes it fun. That's the fun part of it. So look here, as I kind of load my transport ship here with, you know, all of these lovely goodies that equate to 1 billion ISK. I put it in my fleet hangar. Let's just start the trip back. So let me just show you how filled with peril this is going to be. But there are some tricks you can do that will help this. And as we do this, let's just do, so first off, make an undock. Oops, no, not that one. Undock 4-4, so warp. So you can't be ganked on the undock. Now the benefit of transport ships and blockade ships is they can't be scanned. Obviously I use these the bookmarks here just to make my life a bit easier. If I wish to, I could cloak, although it's offline. That's nice and handy. Oh, that's really good. My cloak is offline. But as you can see, all I'm doing is basically undocking to a save point. No one really could sort of tackle me. Not that they would, but you know, you never know. Some people try to gank. This ship has a pretty good fit if memory serves. Let's see, what's our EHP? Oh, do you know what? It's actually rubbish. After all that, it's not great. But again, you know, it'd take a bit to kill me. So, you know, this is, and you can use the warp trick. So this is why I have a micro warp drive and an afterburner here. So you can afterburn cloak, and then as you then build up the speed, cloak, decloak, you know, and you're away. Or is it micro warp drive? I forget. But it's been a while. It's been a while. So you can basically just run the gauntlet. I think, to be honest, if you're just a bit crafty, Like, I mean, there's some obvious stuff here. Don't travel at peak rate on Sunday. You know, that like Sunday European time. Don't do that because you're obviously going to get blown up. There is always the risk that no matter what you do, there's going to be someone that will blow you to pieces. So you just accept that. And this is part of the job. I actually find that if you have multiple accounts, just double check I don't get scanned by some sneaky. Always worry when you see slashes like that, because yeah, you know what they're doing. Oh, fun times. But again, you probably won't even know they're targeting you. But again, they can't scan you. This is the wonder of transport ships. At least as of recording, you can't scan transport ships. So they have to take a bit of a punt over what you've got on you. So let's just see how that goes. Let's talk about what else do you need. So freighters would be good. So currently I have, if I go to Mortellaro, let's just log off. Let me show you my freighter. So I have 3 freighter pilots basically sat ready to go, and they're basically in Jita ready to pick up things like tritanium, stuff like that, like really bulky stuff. Are they? Oh yeah, they're in Jita. So again, it's handy, not required in any way. Like I have got, you know, with these many accounts, I have just run transport ships and I've moved, you know, 500,000 units of stuff. It just takes a few runs. That's all it takes. Don't forget the micro warp drive trick, which I didn't show you. So again, here I just buzz the micro warp drive 1 cycle and you'll see that we'll quickly warp. So 3, 2, 1 and bloop, warp, boom. So do that every time like that. There you go. If you learn one thing from this video, do that. Fit a micro warp drive and just pulse it once and you'll align quicker. And you have to sort of adjust it and blah blah blah, but I recommend that. And I think that is kind of the most of the things that you need. There are implants, I will show you. I think I have them on this character. So do augmentations, here we go. So bean counter research, bean counter science, they're basically anything with a bean counter is quite good. Got a fellow transport ship with me. I think this is the good one. 805 is the good one because it gives a 5% bonus. Let's just insta-dock. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Warp and then pulse. Micro warp drive. There we go. So you basically get a 5% bonus. See how quickly that was though? We're basically already back to our production center, to the Pyrex Palace, which is great because that's what you need. I would recommend always making an insta-dock to the station as well, because it's just easier. Again, you just get into a bit of a kind of mental, you know, muscle memory of warp here, do this, do that. Right, so that I would say is all you need. You don't need the blingy stuff, but if it's possible, I would recommend having like transport ships and blockade runners because they're very, very useful. Blockade runners can do the G to run in probably about a minute, if that. So if you need small stuff like more fight and so on, look at that, perfect. Perfect, like a glove, I think you could say. So let's dock and let's talk about part 4, blueprints. So now we will have the problem of deciding what to build. So when it comes to actually building, it's a bit, you know, not all builds are created equal. Quote, should you focus on ammo, ships, modules, even rigs? I think that's a tricky one. You can analyze the market. So you can look at demand, you can look at competition and profitability. And this is a question I get asked a lot is, should I track all of this on Excel? And what do I build and how do I kind of monitor the market? I'm going to give you my honest opinion here because this is difficult. I used to do the Excel and I used to track through things like Eve Tycoon, what to make and where to put it. After a while, you realize that it's sort of a bit pointless because you get so good at selling things and spotting things. So we've talked about this before. If I go to certain things on the market, like, I don't know, I'm just going to go here. You start to spot things that are actually really well priced. So if, for example, here you can see the spread or the gap between these, that's pretty high. That's pretty good. So you start to sort of see when things are not so good. You know, you start to kind of pick up on what is a good thing to buy versus a bad thing to buy, you know, and so on. So if I give you maybe a bit of more of an example, it wasn't mechanical, was it high energy? I think it was high energy. There we go. So already you can see my buy order is at the top because I need these, but you know, you can see there's quite a spread here. The market's quite good at the moment, actually. I think if I was going to just sort of subtext everything, is I think the market is actually quite beneficial. Right, let's bung all that in there. And then let's have a look at our blueprint. So there's two ways to do this, and I'm just going to give you some real basic stuff now. I have a layout here which I think works for me. Let me just go through it. So we have a modules tab, which is all of the blueprints in the game, all of them, right? That's everything that we can get. And it's also where I put my Tech 1 minerals, the basic minerals. I then have an invention tab, and this often overflows, where we have everything from invention. We also have the parts blueprints in here. And we also have all of the components. So you see here, we're building the Tech 2 components. We've got the data cores in here, if I just rationalize that. And we have the RAMs that allow you to build these things. We have the decoders, which sometimes we use, sometimes we don't. And then we have the Tech 1 components, so Acolytes Tech 1, that we then convert into Tech 2. So everything in Tech 2 is converted, is upgrading a Tech 1, if that makes sense. We then have Moon Mins, which is there. And that's pretty much it, other than we do have the planetary interaction stuff that you need as well. So after a while, this feels overwhelming, I guarantee you, but after a while it becomes second nature that whenever you come and do a restock, you come straight to this bit and say, right, what parts are we low on? Okay, let's go and build some parts. I can see already that I need spatial attunement and tesseract capacitors. So let's just go and build that. So I'm just going to literally just jump straight to that. So I know already, wrong one. So if I go straight to the test or whatever, I can then build a number of these. And I think we need quite a bit. So can I build 500? Yes, so invention to invention start. I'm just going to do 2 lots of that because I build in short runs, usually no more than 12 hours if I can avoid it, because I log in twice a day to do my production. Entirely up to you if you don't want to do it that way. The other one was quantum, there we go. Was it quantum? Let me just double check that. No, it was spatial attunement. Was it? No, quantum, I thought it was. I don't think spatial attunement we use, but there we go. Same again, 500. Hopefully we have the minerals to do it. Yes, we do. And then we'll do 2 of those. So we need something. So titanium carbide, typical. Now, this is an example of restock. I need something. I go straight to my Jita alt, already there. And I can go straight to my Moon Mins, go straight to the titanium carbide, and I can just buy it. I'll place the buy order because why not? It's just nice and easy to do either, really. So 97, there we go. I'm the annoying guy because I need it. So let's just place a bit of a higher order for it. And let's maybe not do 1,000,000 units because that's a bit much. Let's just do 300,000. There we go. Buy. Boom. So that's up. And that pretty much takes us then to what to build. So really deciding what to build is a bit of an art. I will go through now and show you how I do it, which is you learn kind of what the best way to do this. I have my setup like here, so I just show everything owned by the corp, current station, and all blueprints, right? I find this the best way to do it because, and I'll show you why, because what I'm looking for is things like this. I can see I only have a blueprint original of 100 micronewton afterburner. If I wanted to do invention of that, I can't because I don't have a copy of it. So I want to make a copy of it, so I'm going to make one now. I'm just going to do one run, boom, right? So I know I can see I've got one of that, I've got many of those, and I've got a few of that. Now what this would tell me is I don't need to make any copies because I've got 5 copies there, and I don't really need to invent from it because I've got 4 copies in Tech 2 already. So as I scroll down, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So here I can see I've got some invention jobs already in, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. I could maybe make some railguns. So again, I click on it. Because the way the game works, it remembers the way that you build things. So it's remembered that I actually have already done this before, and it knows the hangar to take it from and put it in. So with the majority of the things you do, the more you do it, the more it remembers and the less interaction it requires of you. I'll give you an example of that if we find one, but this is a great example of I can build one. Oh, I can't, I've already got. Why can't I build that? What am I missing? Let's start. There we go. So I just press the down cursor key and I can do 2. So you see how that works? I just press down and I'm now ready to build the third one. It's interesting. I can now see that we don't have the 125mm railgun 1, so I can come to the blueprint here. You see how I'm working it? By having everything in a line, I can then come and say, right, I need 50 of these, and I can just click start. Boom. So how easy was that? It's a lovely system once you've taught it. Okay, I avoid large guns like the plague because they take a huge amount of resources, so I'm not going to do that. I could build some, so let's build some 150s. I like small guns because they always sell. So now we can see we need thermonuclear trigger units. So again, let's just come down to another build. So we need thermonuclear trigger units. Where are we? There it is. So we just click that. And in this case, I just probably build 500. There we go. See how that works? So we're golden, right? I'm actually going to build 250 of those because I don't want to sort of build too many because I'm not exactly building that many guns. And I pretty much continue. So I get to sort of, 1600 steel plates. They're quite excessive. So I can see I'm low on Mexilon now. Okay, so you see how useful it is by having, again, you can do this with 2 accounts. It just needs 2 accounts. And if you're interested in how I'm doing the Evo preview, because look, I can cycle through these, I'll show you that in a separate video. Post in the comments if that would be helpful to you, because I've set this up so that basically I can just quickly scroll through and go and do that. So let's now buy some Mexilon. So hopefully you're seeing how it works. So if I just come here, place the buy order. Now I actually generally don't do buy orders. I just go and buy it because I'm that guy. But I'm just gonna 0.5. Let's be sensible. Let's just do 0.1. And in this case, I just need, let's just say 1 million units. Buy. There we go. So you can see how I'm doing it. Basically, that's the process by which I'm doing it. Now, how would I then select things that I know sell well? So when it comes to then selling, what I would do, so again, I'm just going to give you the worked example. Let's use a different character to do this because I think it'd be interesting. So the Shatner is my blockade runner. So we're going to load up our blockade runner now. I don't think I moved it, so let's just do 2, and this then just filters all the way at the bottom. How big is that? No, that's fine, so we can bung that in our ship. So now we've got our loot ready to go. Let's undock and let's go to GTER, and then what I'll do is I'll show you the process by which we can spot what is worth buying and what is worth selling. And again, I love blockade runners because they're just brilliant. These things are fantastic. Because what I would do is I would then have a range of buy and sell orders here, right? And the sell orders particularly, I would then see what is working well. What am I selling well? Now, there are some times when you put something on the market and you're not entirely sure if you're making a profit or not. That's okay. It depends. If you want to track the costs like to a very, very high degree, then please do so. I did this for an awfully long time, and in the end I just realized I'm Walmart. I just stack the shelves high because in the long run you make a profit generally anyway, so it's pretty much not even a thing. I tend to cloak when I run blockade runners just because why not? It's what they're designed for. But again, you'll see how quickly, in under a minute, we'll be in GTER. So, this is why that location is just absolutely critical. So let's come and dock. Let's jump. And I think really this kind of becomes the smart. So this is part 5 really. So mastering the market is, what do you need? Like building is half the conversation of this. That's probably just worth starting with. Really it's about getting ISK flowing. So where to sell, how to price it, where to haul stuff to, the regional hubs, because it's not just GTER. There's Amar, there's Devol, there's loads of places where you can actually sell stuff. I've always stuck with GTER because it's such a big market. Stuff sells really well. There's more competition, but again, competition doesn't matter here, because as long as you don't go all in on Tesla, as I joke, you probably won't have any issues with that, because eventually you will sell. There is always going to be a market that moves pretty much constantly. So right, let me just bring up my locations. I think the Instadock warp. Again, I'm just overly cautious. I don't need to be, but this is just, you get into the habit of when you travel, you just do this. And in this case, again, I have my character then in Jita if we need to pick up anything else to bring back in an emergency, which I don't think we do because we can carry on building. So I think when it comes to hauling and selling and how to do that, let's just show how I would do that. So let me just dock, and then I will show you how I will trade everything to the trader role, because the trader role has good selling skills, so there's a tax reduction. Standings are almost not so bad, they're not perfect, but again, if I just trade, there we go, and we just give all of that to her, accept, and we go to our items. Here we go. So pretty much we can just sell all of these things, so sell items. And then this is a bit of a process, but again, this is in theory the fun part of the game. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Is where you would then just be going down and saying, right, what are, let's have a look at how much these are selling for. So there we go. So people are buying them for that and they're selling them for that. So I would always sell, say, 628 300. We then go, now this is where be really careful, don't press return, otherwise you sell everything at the lower rate. So just to be clear. And there we go. So that's given us 394860. So we click sell, and then we have our, can't really see it there because of these stupid windows, but you can see that we have then our stuff on the market. It used to give us a little summary here. I wonder why that's gone. It used to give us a thing of how much ISK was on and how much ISK wasn't on, but oh well, no idea why that's gone. And we did do a bit of duplication, but there you go. Now, to be honest, it's a case of seeing what sells, because some stuff won't sell, and you know, you'll have to then come back and have a look at it on the market. Oh no, you can modify it basically doing that. But again, it depends if you really want to do that. Let's move to part 6. So we talk now maybe about the timings. So, you know, should you produce daily? Should you do it like weekly? Should you do it in bulk? Should you just build one thing as much as you can? It's entirely up to you. It's up to you how you want to do this. I tend to do the range of things and then see what sells. Because if I see that, say, expanding cargo hold 2s, they generally sell quite well. So I would say they're probably worth putting on the market quite aggressively, actually. As you can see, stuff's already selling. Look at that. It's already selling. So that's what you're looking for, is basically this ability to see the market moving with you. And that's it, really. This is what you want. You want to have stuff on the market starting to sell. And when you're offline, you'll basically see your wallet buzzing like this. And that's it, really. That's the cadence. My view of it is once a day is fine. If you do it once a day or once every other 2 days, that's fine. I actually prefer not to do what I've just shown there, weirdly enough, is to not bring stuff every day to the market, is to build up a bit of a reserve over like a few days and then dump it all in the market in one go, because then you can better control the market orders. It means you've got more to sell, but it means higher price to modify it, but I still think it's a better way to do it. So let's just recap what we've done. So let's talk about kind of what we've seen. So we picked a system, we basically looked at the map, we looked at the facilities in the build. So again, remember, you have these facilities. We looked for a location that's near a market hub. Again, Amar is good as well, you know, Devol. You know, there's lots of places, but I still think Jita, to me, it's like my home. And Lone Trek and the Citadel are my home stations, really. I picked Karama because it's just comfortable and easy, but like there are just ridiculous amounts of systems here that you could also use. I don't do anything like ratting or anything like that, so you know, it doesn't matter that it's basically a high-sec system. When it comes to what to use and what to have, just transport ships are ideal. If you don't have them yet, then just good haulers. The Iterons, the you know, the Mammoths, these are good haulers. I would just say, you know, pick a ship and master it and fit it as well as best you can. I think blockade runners and transport ships are the ultimate way to do this. Have freighters if you need them, they're handy. So if you're doing, so one of the things that we'll probably talk about in following videos is things like ship production and Tech 1 ship production potentially, because this is where the freighters come into it. Because if you've got characters and freighters, you might as well use them, because you can buy a ton of minerals on the market. I mean, I just bought 6 million tritanium. That's not a lot considering I used to buy almost kind of 200 million units to build the Titans, but you can then just use freighters to ship them around. The risk of being ganked is low. I mean, are they really going to attack you for tritanium? You use the transport ships and the blockade runners to move the high value minerals. Do you see how that works? So this is why it can be, it's a bit of a journey. You start to kind of see things that you can do. So it's about having the tools, the skills, and then a bit of a strategy. And then really it just comes down to, pick some things that you want to build and build them. My recommendation is to not do ships to begin with. I think ships are a bit of a risk. I think the best thing to do is to do modules. And if you want to do invention, then invention is absolutely worth doing. We'll probably do a deeper dive into invention at some point, but hopefully that just shows you that you could even just build the Tech 1 modules and move them, because they are bought on the market quite excessively. I think for me, the key thing is to really find something that you enjoy doing. For me, invention is fun. I mean, I love building capital ships. These were huge amounts of fun to build. But seriously now, like can you imagine building a Titan now? Like just all the additional things it needs. I mean, what are these? Seriously, like I just think it's gone too far. And I turn my back upon these terrible, terrible ships, because I just think they've made them so difficult. But there we go. If this guide has helped you and you have enjoyed what you've seen today, if you've enjoyed my weird British ramblings, then please do like and consider subscribing. I hate to do that, but it is digital busking, I guess. Apparently there's a bell that if you press, good things happen. I've been told this. I do not understand what they meant by that. I hope it wasn't anything rude. And if you've got any questions, join the Discord. I am relatively active in the Discord. I don't drink hugely anymore, so that's a joke, obviously. Please join the Discord and have a chat. And if you've got any questions, let me know. But drop a comment in the video as well. And to be honest, this is just the beginning. We are going to do many, many videos of this wonderful component of EVE Online. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.